Hey, Pete. First off, I'm sorry to hear about you and Aunt. Second off, I can't handle cream, but that still looked delicious, what your flatmate was actually cooking. Third off, Removalists. Never heard of the title until I actually got the gist of what actually means, which is movers, packagers and movers, or packers and movers. Yes, unfortunately, I've had bad experiences, and mine was specifically with Hoyts. Um, they first off, I'm in Moncton, New Brunswick, and they have branches all across the province. Why they couldn't get their own movers from within Moncton to come to my apartment to move us is still unknown to me. When I made my inquiries, I was quite specific about the time that we needed to move and when we needed to get it done. They arrived 2 hours later than expected, which wasn't a big deal. Mind you, compared to you guys, I would have possibly flown off the handle. Never mind Aunt. I would have probably said, okay, you're going to call your supervisor or manager right now, and you're going to settle this up over the phone. And if they don't want to settle with you over the phone, you can gratefully pass me on to them because you're not leaving here if you expect to be paid until we find out when you're coming back tomorrow. In my case, it was moving from apartment to house. I'll never do it again. I will never ever do it again. If I have to do it again, I will hire my own truck, drive it, or have somebody who has driving experience with a moving truck, or use a smaller vehicle and do multiple loads. I don't give a rat's ass. The convenience of doing it in one shot was too much of an inconvenience to me because they came. They were told. I already made arrangements with everyone. I had an estimator come over, see how much stuff was being packaged, how much of it was going. I made arrangements between me and my now ex-wife in regards to what we were moving into the house when we were coming in. We moved more of the actual small items and left the big pieces of furniture up to them. We were told that they were supposed to use mattresses or pads, which are glorified blankets thick enough so that things don't scuff and scratch together, to protect my walls, protect the items, and to make sure everything was fine. Now, they were piling everything helter skelter in the back. I had to actually take the time to tell them that they needed to be more careful with the actual items because I expected them to arrive intact. That said, they were supposed to also bring clothes boxes, which are basically 4 foot high boxes with a metal bar in the middle that allows you to hang clothing in so that you can actually take your closet, move it in these boxes. We had about 10 of those, and they didn't really come prepared. I had no tape, I had nothing, and I was told that they would be bringing everything because I had moved my stuff. And here they come and they say, well, no, we don't have it. I said, what do you mean you don't have it? I was told you guys would be bringing it, and I expect you guys to actually have it. So they actually went out of their way, thank God, to the local Canadian Tire, which is a hardware chain that we have here in Canada, to actually buy duct tape or boxing tape so they could actually put the boxes together. They expected to leave us with all those boxes after moving into the house. Now, my house was full of bags in the living room. We had almost no room. So we took everything, we moved everything in, first the big pieces, the table and everything else. When they decided to move the bed frame, the couch they had to remove from the apartment, they had to actually unhinge the door, which I don't know how they managed to do it, but they managed to do it anyhow because they didn't have any tools. Just bare bones necessities. A hammer and a screwdriver, I think, is all they had. And maybe a wrench or two. But I think they had lug nuts loose in the head. Anyways, they took off the door because they couldn't move the sofa past the main door of the apartment complex. My door, anyways, my apartment door. They had no issues with the big entry door. When they moved the stuff into my apartment, from what I've been told, they didn't need to remove the door, so I don't know what the hell they did or how they did it. I was supervising them up to a point. My wife was running haggard and running back and forth to follow them to make sure that they didn't decide to play hockey soccer, rugby, football, or any other type of rough sports with the actual items that we owned. After that was said and done, almost having a fight with the people, I then drove them to where we were moving. Now, the front door was a squeeze. We had to take it off, and I was scared to Jesus Christ when they decided to actually take off the door from its hinges, because it's one of those nice doors that actually would have looked a little bit better than the two scratches they decided to put in the door. They were minor ones, but hey, when you see that, you can't stop looking at it. Here comes the whole cataclysm. They start moving stuff into the house. We were told they'd put pads on the walls to avoid anything being scuffed. First lie. We were told they'd be careful. Second lie. We were told that we'd be able to fit everything into the house. Well, that's my lie, but unfortunately I had to give away a piece of my own furniture because I had no space, and I just told them, take it with you and do whatever you want with it, and I had to sign a waiver for it. But they scuffed my walls to hell. Downstairs, they had a big chunk of the ceiling that was actually scratched. The painting was actually removed. I had to repaint that. They had some holes put into the walls. I had to use putty to actually put it back. But what they did upstairs was terrible. It wasn't what they did downstairs when they assembled the bed. They actually punched holes in the base of my wall, so I haven't bothered doing anything with that because at this point I might as well wait until I decide to repatch it up myself later when I redo the actual sleeping quarter. But it's what they did upstairs. The hide-a-bed that they had to take the hinges off to bring into the house and out of the apartment, they put tie straps or zip ties to actually hold the spring for the hide-a-bed inside so it wouldn't spring open while being transported or while they were moving it. Thank God, because the damn thing had the trigger. I was downstairs discussing with the leader of the motley fat crew of burly men with an IQ total of possibly a boulder. And even then, I think I'm insulting boulders across the world. They're probably not very intelligent people in regards to their job. They're probably more intelligent as people doing their normal day things. But unfortunately, their politeness and job etiquette did not go far. In fact, it could possibly be thrown over the balcony. Just saying. They decided to open the bed upstairs, the hide-a-bed upstairs in the living room where they actually put it. That wasn't the problem. The problem was they put it in a way that the hide-a-bed decided to spring its springs. I was downstairs at the time, and I remember hearing this loud bang and this sprawling noise with a clang and a grinding noise of metal parts on a hardwood floor. And in my head I had, oh my effing God, what happened? My wife was up in arms already, and she was upset. I went upstairs, checked. 2 gigantic grooves in my floor. I haven't had them fixed because when everything was said and done, they wanted more money than what was said. I already gave them a check. I already authorized a check. I said, no, I'm not paying more. I spoke to the person. I said I was quoted this. This is how much I'm paying. And there's damages done. I need somebody to come over to see it. Unfortunately, I had already signed the waiver. They left with the waiver. So they could legally just go, sorry, mate, we're not doing anything. I had a phone scuffle for a week with the owner of the business, and I have to tie this up quick. The estimator came to my house, inspected everything, said we can come and fix it, no problem, but you have to let us know. I said, no, you guys did this to me, did that to me, did this to my wife and me. We have no time to spend. I spent almost like a week off trying to get everything done. They wanted more time. I said, no. All we're asking is $300 for us to do the repairs ourselves. I can go buy the paint, I can go buy the brushes, and I'm fine with that. They didn't want to agree with it. I called up the owner of the business, and I said, look, your business, Hoyts, you can stick it up your toodle-a-twit because I'm never letting anyone else get positive reviews. Have a nice one.